Today, our pastures are getting a little messy, so we need to give them a drag. Basically, dragging is where you just scrape it, kind of spread everything out. During the winter time, our property condenses a lot because we have to get the cattle up off the river and concentrates a lot of poop. So we are going to spread out some of this manure with a DIY option that, as long as you got a gator or a tractor, will cost you about 60 bucks. All right, let's check it out. Real quick, we have a newsletter, the Sunday Solopreneur. This comes out every Sunday about 10 a.m. I talk about how to market your products on your farm, how to use social media and websites to grow your farm. I also talk about farming, raising cattle, chickens, pigs. We go through it all, and it's about building your farm business. Sign up now, and you also get a free PDF on how to use ChatGPT to write your social media, to write your newsletters, and to help write product descriptions for your products. This is free download for signing up for the newsletter. One newsletter every 1 to 2 weeks, no spam, I promise. Check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value in learning to grow your farm or homestead, and it's free. All right, back to the video. All right, so today we're going to clean up the cattle pastures a little bit. We have got a lot of manure that's starting to accumulate in some of our winter pastures, and I have noticed that the grass is starting to come up. It is March 10th, and we're hitting the weather. It's getting that time. So what I don't want is huge clumps of cow poop or big pats that will kill areas of the pasture. Therefore, what we're going to do is use basically some cattle panels that I've got laying around. We're going to rig a few of these guys up on the back of a gator and go for a ride. So the goal is these will drag behind, these will break up the clumps, spread it out somewhat, and just help to evenly distribute the manure along the pasture. And at the same time, it'll remove those big clumps that would prohibit grass growth in those areas. All right, so let's get it hooked up. We'll have to pull them sideways first because I can't get 16 foot through the gate, and we'll get them in there and hook them up. I'll show you how we hook them up really easy and give the pastures a drag. All right, what I've got, 2 cattle panels here. Make sure they're fairly straight, not bent a lot. That way they lay nice and flat on the ground. And then I've just got this is an old ratchet strap. So I've made a loop on one end, and then I've still got the hook on the other end. And we'll use that to pull them in the pasture. And then essentially what I do is I get them in, turn them sideways, connect them together, just some wire, give it a few twists and twist it. They're hooked, and we do it. All right, we've got our wire and our cutters. I'm not sure which gauge this is, but it's easy to bend with your hands. So it's easy to twist, so it's easy to connect these 2 cattle panels together. And then this to cut it, our ratchet strap to pull it, and 2 cattle panels, that's it. Well, and the gator. Tractor will work too, anything you have to pull it. All right, let's get these up here and we'll get to dragging. All right, let's try this again. Once again, I recorded 5 minutes of a segment and it wasn't recording. All right, so what we've got here, you can see here I've got 2 cattle panels, and I had to pull them long ways to get them through the gate. My gate is about 12 foot wide. These are 16 foot. So we get them in here, then turn them sideways. So now they're long ways across the back of the gator. This just allows me to cover a lot more ground as we're going. And we've got the first one laid up here across, and I'm attaching that with a ratchet strap. You can use anything for this. I wouldn't recommend that it's strong. Occasionally you'll hit a little stump or something. So if this breaks, I think it's 500 pounds. I've got another one, not a big deal. Then I've got a second cattle panel laying back here, and I'm going to attach that to the first one with just some wire. I'm just going to wrap some wire around edges. That allows it to undulate, and honestly, if I had some carabiners, master locks, you can really use anything to attach them together. That's just what I have on hand, is some wire. So I'll wrap some wire around and we'll do that. I have used these for years. There are many other ways you can do it. I've seen people use old mattress frames. You take all the cloth off and you've essentially got the coils and the springs and put a little bit of weight on those and drag those guys around. I've seen people do this like we're doing, but we'll put cinder blocks or tires on it to give it some weight. I've never really had to do that, but I don't think it hurts. I've seen people use just tires themselves. You can connect them like in a triangle type shape, anywhere from 6 to 10 tires, and drag those around, and those will do a great job of smoothing everything out. So again, the goal is really just to bust up some of these bigger clumps back here. You can kind of see in here, and just spread everything out. Again, the grass is starting to grow and we want to make sure that we don't have these big clumps blocking. But try this. This is just what we had on hand, and why go out and spend $700 when on a real drag, which if you have that, that's great. Those actually have spikes. They do some dethatching as well as dragging, but these work great for our purpose. This pasture is never going to be great because we run chickens. We're actually doing chickens and turkeys in it this year, and they tend to scratch, not the turkey so much, but the layer birds tend to tear stuff up. They like to scratch, make dust baths and things. So it's a pasture we use basically for rotating our layers, and we're going to put our turkeys in this year. But that said, I still want to get the best growth I can for the layers, and this helps by spreading everything out and just keeping it nice and smooth. And yeah, so let's get this last one hooked up to this and we'll get to dragging. All right, and that's it. I've just got some pieces of wire. These bend very easy, so we're just going to tie ends, middle, and we'll be ready to go. And there we go, just a little knot. I went around twice, and like I say, this will easily hold for what we need to do. We'll go ahead and put 2 more on just to be safe, but very simple. All right, and that's it. We've got them hooked up behind the gator here, so we're gonna go ahead and start dragging. And you can kind of see still there's a lot of clumps here and in here, but then if you look right here where I've went through, you can see it's almost smooth. Like you don't even see clumps, like it breaks it up really good. And then I've already went along the fence line there one pass, so you can sort of see the transition from where it goes. So it does a great job, and you can see it just makes a ton of little particles. Just ride around your pasture. It's kind of fun, and you know, it just does a great job, makes everything look nice, helps to spread the manure out good so that it's being more distributed along the pasture. And yeah, so we're gonna do a number more passes. Usually takes me, this is a 4-acre lot that I'm in now, and usually takes me about 10-20 minutes just to do enough passes around to make sure I've spread everything out good. Sometimes you have to hit an area twice, but yeah. All right, let's get this finished, and I'll have one more thing for you after this. All right. Over here, you wouldn't even know there were ever cattle there. It really spread it out good. We probably did, I don't know, 5 or 6 passes on it. And still a few little clumps of hay, but that's okay. You know, this isn't perfect. It's just to get it nice and a whole lot better than what it was. This poop will fill in little holes. It'll knock down mud clots and things like that make everything bumpy. So just smooths it out. Something I highly recommend if you're running cattle on pasture. And you can see here how it really breaks everything up pretty fine. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that by doing this, you're actually fertilizing. Not that when cows poop, they're not adding fertilizer, different things, even chickens, but when you're spreading it out like this, you're allowing it to not concentrate in one area, which is good because, again, cow manure, it's a lot of it. It will literally block out whatever was growing there. It'll kill it. It's like laying a tarp over it. Eventually something will grow back there, but when we're trying to establish good pastures, we don't want to kill things in order for it to come back up. You know, we're just trying to maintain what we have give the pasture a nice bed for germinating. And by doing this, it just spreads everything out really fine. And I've just added a lot of fertilizer to the pasture and really haven't had to do anything other than some cattle panels I already had laying around and a little bit of my time driving really fast around in the gator. So anyways, just a little thing we do on the farm here to try to help our pastures. One of my goals this year is to try to work on our pastures a bit more, give them a little bit more attention, because if you take care of your pastures will take care of you. That's kind of the basis for everything you do on the farm. If your pastures aren't thriving, then your chickens and your cattle and your pigs and those that depend on those pastures aren't going to thrive either. So if we take care of our pastures, we're in essence helping take care of our animals. And the better your pastures, the more they eat, the more weight they put on, the more money you make if you're selling product. So this is a very simple way of doing that. It's a very inexpensive way. And it's also a way of using not only the panels that we have, but using the cow manure and the poop that's already here on the pasture and spreading it out in a way that it's beneficial for the pasture and my wallet. So, all right, hope that helps. And apologies for the wind. I don't have my mic on today. My thing died, and so I'm talking straight into the phone. But hope that helps. If you want to see a couple videos on how we use minerals with our cattle and the DIY working pen that we built for our cattle, check out this video here and we'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye.